is London King's Cross Station, and it's through this gateway into our capital city that millions of people have arrived over the years. And it's probably where a certain Victor Watson and Marjorie Phillips arrived in 1935. Victor Watson was the managing director of Leeds-based games manufacturing company Waddington's, and Waddington's had just bought the rights to Monopoly, the American-based board game. And so they came to London for a specific reason, to choose the street names that were going to appear on the British iconic Monopoly board. My name is Catherine Cartwright and I'm a London Blue Badge guide, and today we're going to take a walk around the Monopoly board, but we're going to go beyond that and discover some of the stories, the history, the secrets and the magic behind some of these squares. So whether you've just arrived, you're just visiting, or you're intending to stick around for a while, it's time to pass go.
Better place to start than the true centre of London.
This is Trafalgar Square. This truly is the heart of London, because it's from here that all distances to and from London are measured. Named after the great Battle of Trafalgar of 1805, where the British defeated the Napoleonic forces, but where Lord Nelson, the Maverick, lost his life. But some 35 years later, this square was created in his memory and in the memory of the battle. And a column was erected, some 46 metres high, on top of which was a statue placed of Lord Nelson, so he could watch all over London and all of London could watch him. This is one of two actual squares on the Monopoly board, and despite its great fame, Trafalgar Square is priced at only £240, which would have been peanuts even to Charles I. And this great king was actually commemorated here in the square in this fantastic statue. Well, it's quite poignant that statue of this ill-fated king is placed here because he looks down Whitehall, and Whitehall was the place where he was executed at the hands of the parliamentarians.
So the other two red squares link directly from Trafalgar Square. This is Strand.
Well, this is a well-trodden path linking the City of London with the medieval city of Westminster. All the way along here, great palaces were built, including the Savoy Palace, on the site of which today stands the Savoy Hotel. Well, the hotel is currently undergoing a £100 million renovation, which is a far cry from the £150 mentioned on the Monopoly board. But tucked away behind the hotel is a little secret and a true survivor of the original Savoy Palace, and that is the Savoy Chapel. And this is a royal peculiar, which means it's the Queen that appoints the chaplain of this church rather than the Bishop of London, much like Westminster Abbey or the Temple Church. And it's Crown land that it stands on, which is why it's granted this peculiarity. This truly is one of the secret hidden gems of London.
But the Savoy Palace, with its chapel, was just one of the many great houses built by the great and the good along this famous street.
Another large mansion off the Strand is Somerset House, named after the Duke of Somerset, Edward Seymour, who was protector to and uncle of Edward VI, the boy king. Now today, the palace that you're looking at dates to the 1770s and was purpose-built as offices. Included in here were the tax office and the Hackney carriage office, amongst many others.
Today, this 18th century masterpiece is used not only for filming, but for the public to enjoy skating in the courtyard in winter or enjoying the great paintings of the Courtauld Gallery in the North Wing. A little further along the Strand is one of several peculiar London street markers.
This is Temple Bar Monument. This is where the City of Westminster meets the City of London, or more importantly for our purposes, where the Strand meets Fleet Street, the third and final red square on the Monopoly board. And Fleet Street is the street that flows with ink. Since the printing press was bought here in the early 1500s, Fleet Street has been synonymous with the journalist and publishing trade. Now the impressive Daily Express, Daily Telegraph and the Reuters building still dominate Fleet Street, and behind these impressive facades were the mighty printing presses churning out papers. All the press has moved out of Fleet Street now to the East End, but there are still a few little reminders of the journalist trade still here lurking behind Fleet Street.
In amongst the newspapers is the Journalists' Church, St Bride's. This Christopher Wren church has an extraordinary shaped spire which inspired a local baker to make a cake for his own daughter's wedding in its shape. Henceforth, traditionally, wedding cakes are tiered in the style of St Bride's steeple.
Fleet Street is actually named after a river, the River Fleet, which once openly used to flow into the River Thames. But now it's a pipe under the ground containing sewage. Well, the River Thames was once an open sewer itself, and in the 1850s the smell became so bad that it was referred to as the Great Stink. Thousands of people died as a result of water poisoning or cholera in the 1800s. This led to the reform and creation of the waterworks, which is where we're going next.
The task of supplying clean water and managing our wastewater has not always been easy for a city expanding at an incredible rate. Few realise the importance of the waterworks. It's something we take for granted today.
So our waterworks, the sewage system, was mainly created by the Victorians, notably Joseph Bazalgette, who built the fantastic Abbey Mills pumping station here in East London. It looks like something that might have been dropped into East London from Istanbul. Not only is this an architectural curiosity, but it's a vital part of London's infrastructure.
To deliver thousands of tonnes of sewage to the waterworks each and every day, Bazalgette built these great sewage pipes, bringing waste from all over London to be treated here.
The Northern Outfall sewer runs all the way down to Abbey Mills pumping station. And on top of the sewer lies a public footpath called the Greenway, which is going to feature very heavily in 2012 for the Olympic Games, because it stands right by the Olympic Park. And you can't help but wondering, would Marjorie Phillips and Victor Watson put the Olympic Park on the Monopoly board should they be naming it today?
Either way, all the squares, streets, utilities and train stations represent different sides of London which, to this day, are intriguing, not just in terms of making money, but in terms of the layers of history on which this wealthy city continues to grow and evolve.